Oh, that's good. That's a good sign.
We're live. Hi, guys. Last week, Facebook was working straight away. We'll see what happens this week. How's everybody doing? Hope you've had a good week. Hope we're all well. Oh, blimey. Well, bit of a change in the weather. Oh, God, look straight at me. First time since summer began, I had to put my work fleece on this morning. Oh, we do. Oh, see, I've got nothing. Oh, done something. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I had a bit of trouble getting on tonight. Russ, bless him. He's getting there. He's working. There we go. Let's wait for the big boss man.
Oh. Jeez, that light is bright, isn't it? It really is. Oh, we're live. Right. Are we live? Are we live? Is Philip still playing?
Yes.
Let's just check him. Philip.
You do look a bit radioactive.
Oh, it's crazy. That's just a different
like style, man.
I don't know if that's Philip or not. So I have to wait for this song to end. Right, now we go. Right, are you ready?
Oh, I'm good to go.
Here we go. Oh. Right, I think that's it. I'm just going to go for it.
It's now time for you to sit back and chill and relax. Let your mind into the deepest, darkest parts of your brain. And let Russ take you on a journey through the unexplained.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, and welcome to Journey Through the Unexplained. I think we're live. I cannot. You don't appear on Facebook Live. Well, I've definitely got it at the moment. I've got it on Facebook at the moment, but we are on all broadcasts. It could be anything. As you can see, I look absolutely crazy with the camera. I generally don't know what is going on. I don't know how to change it. I don't know what is going on. Does that help? No. I don't know. I say we're lucky that we're actually on air at this present time. We really, really are. Let's start off with a big, massive thank you to the lovely Philip Solomon that has taken us through the last hour over on Pulse Talk Radio. So I'm really hoping there. So thank you to the lovely Philip Solomon that has taken us through there. And I know that he's had a bit of a sad show today because one of his great friends has passed away. So he was, a reminiscing show of good times with a close friend. So sending all our wishes from the Journey Through the Unexplained Pulse Talk Radio to the lovely Philip Solomon that has taken us through the last hour. Hope everything goes well, Philip, and to the best wishes of your good friend as well. As you say, our journey is always written as we were born, so his journey has come to an end, but he starts his new journey in the spiritual world, and hopefully he'll come back to talk to you very shortly, Philip. So from everybody here at Pulse Talk Radio and Journey Through the Unexplained, thinking of you and your good friend at this time.
Absolutely.
So we have a show. I think we've got a show. Marianne is in the chat. Mickey is in the chat. Simon is in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Put your names in the chat, guys. So if you are listening over on Pulse Talk, please head over to Facebook or YouTube if you want to see us. The lovely Heidi is also in the chat. Now, as Paul says, no, he doesn't want you to come over and see us. He wants you to stay on Pulse Talk and just listen to us, because we've got Voice of Angels and Faces for Radio. So that's what we like to think. Morning to Mr. Downs, all the way from Australia at the moment. He is on holiday, having a lovely time.
Good man, good man.
I don't know. He's somewhere in Suffolk, I think. So
yeah, be going in, I believe that.
Joe, let's just say, I thought after last week's show, with obviously the dog not being very well, the house burglary, everything else that went wrong last weekend, it was all over by then. But no, it didn't change. So on Sunday night, my computer blew up. So we are using a different camera of some form. So, I don't know. Let me turn that. Let's see that if that works. See if that has any implications on it. Once again, it still looks bright. Or is it not? It just won't seem to dim down, will it? Just won't seem to dim down at all. What about if I just go full? Jeez, that's no lights at all. That is no lights at all.
It's your life force radiating from you, Russ. That's what it is.
It's just, yeah, it's just, that is just the camera. Let's see if this works any better. You lost me?
Oh, that's better.
Can you see me?
Yes.
I just clicked a setting and it said change camera, so I did that. So hopefully that's it. So yeah, everything has gone, Pete's on. My computer blew up, so I couldn't carry on what I was doing, and then I sat down and watched the TV, and the TV blew up. So yeah,
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh, mate. I don't mean to laugh.
Oh, mate, you can't only but laugh. You can only laugh, but we have to get it backed up. The dog was went to the vet on Wednesday, and she has been discharged with hopefully a clean bill of health. Still got to take it easy. But we're on the right, road for her at the moment. So that's a good thing. That's the positive.
Yeah, good to hear. Good to hear.
Yeah, so I'll take that. I'll take that with all the shit that's being thrown my way. Parking ticket this week. Even though I paid the parking.
Contest it.
But I didn't pay the parking, if that makes sense. Because I went in my mother dearest's car. When I asked you to put the registration number in, I put my one in.
I reckon you'll get away with that. It's an easy mistake to make, isn't it?
I've sent them the receipt and everything. And yeah, and I was not woke this morning, but I checked my emails this morning to find out my Airbnb for October has been cancelled. For no apparent reason. Didn't give me a reason at all.
Oh dear.
So, yeah, whatever you want, whatever you give, send it my way, because I'll just take it at the moment and allow it to be. So, look, we're on air. somehow we're on air. Yeah, I'm sitting in the dark. It's pretty weird because I can't see my own pen and paper. But we're sort of live. So welcome to everybody in the chat. We've got Miss Downs, we've got Simon, we've got Heidi, we've got Mickey. Everybody's in the chat today. Hope we can get some questions. Look, we haven't planned a show because we didn't know we was going to get on air, because I just didn't know how it was going to work. But we think we are. But Paul, we'll start off with the big news today, and then we shall go and lead there. You know, the news today is the spacewalk, wasn't it, or the Expedition X, or whatever it is, has
Polaris Dawn, and it was the first commercial spacewalk.
And obviously, the videos of conspiracy have already sort of started to come out, haven't they?
They have. I must admit, yeah. I don't know if anyone's seen the footage. I've certainly got some questions. I mean, I hope it's real. I really do, but I can't help. I think that conspiracy eye of mine, just I'm looking for faults. I'm looking for things that I can. Do you know what I mean? Rather than just sit back and enjoy it and think, wow, this is actually happening. I'm like, well, that don't add up. Hang on a minute, why is that like that? I'm already questioning everything, you know. It just, but that's just me at the moment. And it's definitely not just me with some of the things I've seen, but hey ho, I suppose you've got to have the opposition.
Well, you know, as I say, let's start from the beginning. So we've got haven't we? We've got the first commercial flight to space by
the furthest in 50 years since the Apollo missions.
Yes,
14,000 kilometers, I believe it is,
and the furthest ever by a woman.
Yes,
ever by a woman. So, you know, congratulations if it is true. The pictures look questionable. Look very questionable. I must admit, the spacesuits look very questionable. Considering, you know, if, you know, we'll follow on from obviously last week's show with the moon landings and things like that, the original moon landings, and I think we categorically said that was sort of a fake. You know, for what reasons, no one knows. Obviously, space race and all that. Now, this one, we've gone totally different. What are the reasons? A lot of people have paid a lot of money to go into space. Yeah. Joe is asking, what's the conspiracy that Paul is talking about?
Whether they're actually up there, to be fair, Joe. Watching some of the footage myself, it just doesn't look right to me. And some of the people that when I sent you, Russ, with that what was his name? That astronaut fella.
Well, the one
pointed him out in the picture. I mean, he was nothing like him. There's no way that's the same bloke. And he's 69, so that's quite some age to be up in space, isn't it?
But do you think? Yeah, well, they sent William Shatner into orbit.
Yeah, but this is. I mean, the one I'm talking about is actually they're all meeting up on the ISS, isn't there? There's quite a few of them on the ISS. Don Pettit.
Is that his name?
Yes, the fella, you'd know him if you. I'll try and get this fella there. You must have seen him when they do the interviews. He's a bit. he's one.
Talking.
The picture, the square there, not the fella talking, the one in the picture there, and that's meant to be him that the arrow's pointing at. He's the one off the NASA footage when he says, we lost the original data from when we went to the moon, and he's talking about the spacecrafts and what goes into the suits and this and that. He's, how do I say it without sounding too rude?
Sorry, so he's actually up there. He's one that's gone up there.
He's in space. He's not on the space. He's not on Polaris Dawn. He's gone up. He's in the International Space Station.
Right.
There's more astronauts in space at the moment, apparently, than ever before. There's 19 people up in space at this very moment in time.
Or what we're told.
From what we're told, yeah. Obviously, only 4 people on the Polaris Dawn mission.
Joe's cracking a funny. Was 69 his age or what he was up to? Boom, boom, Joe. Boom, boom.
Boom.
Oh, no, so he's not in Polaris, right? So, yeah, this is what is sort of got me. Joe wants me to play the clip, and I don't think I can play the clip because it's not sent, is it? It's said you've sent me a link rather than a...
Yes, a few of the videos for some reason are not allowing me to save or anything like that, so I could only share it.
Yeah, it's not allowing me to download the video. So
Which
to be fair, it's
questionable on its own.
Yeah, that is very questionable. The thing that got me is with the video of when they was actually was in the capsule to when they went outside.
Yeah.
How the camera was really blurry and really sort of like, inside, and you could see it was like a camera of like someone holding, and all of a sudden it clips to the outside and there is this crystal clear 4K ready HD blooming marvelous camera that you know, and you just think, well, hang on a minute.
Looked very digitalized, didn't it?
Yeah, it was very, very crystal clear. But that's the problem, obviously, with the technology that we've got nowadays. I'm assuming it would be on YouTube. But unfortunately, we can't share YouTube videos due to copyright. And I'm already on 2 warnings via StreamYard for that. So I am not going to attempt that, unfortunately. We've had 2 lives being taken down, so I am not prepared to take any more down, and that's YouTube's monetization for you as well. So can you send it on the chat? Oh no, because the chat is running through my... Oh no,
I can send it to him.
Yeah, you can send the link, can't you, on the
I can chat, send some of the ones that I've sent you, and he'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. Bear with me, Joe. Can
you send it to this main chat? Does that
the radio show chat?
Yeah. Does that actually work?
Well, all I'll do is forward the ones that I've sent you, Russ.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, can you share the actual video? Cancel. If I click on that, and do... No, it's not going to allow it, is it? No. You can't take a link of it either, can you? You can't share it. You can only share it to Messenger. You can only just... Yeah, you can't... Oh, hold on. I might be able to. Hold the back page. Let's see if this works. Might not, but it might do for all of our listeners. Let's see if I go in there, then paste, see if that works. I don't know if it will. I have posted something in there. See, I have posted something in the chat. That was, but I don't know if you can physically click on that. So you'd have to see if you can actually click on that. And that's the video I'm talking about, of the inside the craft to outside of the craft. And the thing that got, once again, I suppose we're looking at old video footage as well regarding obviously the moon landing. Okay, even though we spoke about it last week and how we thought it was very faked. and we could see things that wasn't quite right. The thing that got me, and I don't, obviously, they're telling us that when they landed on the moon, they used these great big spacesuits. But now, it looks, as all these look like to me, he's got a biker's helmet on with a North Face jacket and steps outside.
Apparently, it's new technology they're trying out, and it's like a bit like, because they're saying, like, why are they moving so robotic? When you see him up there, he was sort of very, all robotic like that. And apparently, it's part of the suit that's got a kind of robotic mechanism to it to help you move in space. So it's apparently, and this is a testing suit. So this is why he was doing all that, so they can take all the data and move on to the following suits that eventually they want to obviously have a full base on the moon, where there was someone going to be permanently on there.
Would I want to be testing a suit in space?
Well,
no, I wouldn't. Under no circumstances would I want to be testing a suit in space. I'd want that.
It's a very small, tight, confined module thing they're actually in, isn't it?
It just didn't, to me, it just didn't look real. It just didn't look real. It did not look real. The suit didn't look real. And the pictures just looked so crystal clear. Well, I know we've got the technology for that. I know that we, the cameras, phone cameras and all that, but the two difference in the camera coming out to the camera watching him walk with the distance, and I suppose you're going to get crystal clear pictures because there is nothing really there to stem it.
Apart from the radiation and the distance.
Well, I get, yeah. You know my theory about, the distance thing. How can we, that crystal clear picture making its way back to Earth when
look, don't get me wrong,
it's getting 10 times worse at the moment. 10 times worse.
Yeah, and I suppose, if you're going to be having cameras up in space, they're not going to be sort of like, your 30 quid camera you can get from the shop, are they? These cameras, I'm assuming, would be worth thousands of pounds with the highest of quality technology put into them. But even then, that being said, that bit of the footage where he was just sort of poking out the top of this shuttle, every angle just changes when you've got supposedly the Earth underneath them. On one, then don't forget they're a steady speed. They're constant speed. It's not changing. It's a constant speed. On some of the videos, the Earth's really barely moving, if at all. It looks like, and then they'll change the camera angle, and it's like 10 times faster. The Earth's moving, and so straight away I'm like, well, how does that work then? If it's either moving at a certain speed or it's not. Let the motorbike go by. And so the two of them were doing the space walk. First was a gentleman, I forget their names, and the second was the female. Now, as she come out, so as the gentleman was finishing his walk, when I say space walk, he wasn't. He was basically just sticking his head out the capsule.
Yeah. Like a meerkat in space.
Yeah. And you could see the shadow of the Earth. So all the light of the Earth, obviously the sun's over there. So the dark side of the Earth is shadowing. And by the time she done hers, it was completely in the shadow when it was pitch black. Pitch black. Now, this is where I start questioning things. Now, the camera's pointing at Earth and there's nothing. It is so dark. Now, apparently, the James Webb Telescope, we could see city lights on the planet 4 billion miles away. Yet you're telling me when the sun was shining on it, you can see land, but when it's pitch black, there's not a single light coming out of the Earth? Not a single bit of light? You're telling me the whole half of the planet is in complete darkness? That to me doesn't make sense.
Look, I get it. I do. I get it. As you look, Joe said, I agree. Looks suspect. Why in such a bad picture? Where's the 4K? His arms look bent in one position. Look, you know the what. You know, I don't know. Obviously, Joe might be watching it on his phone and had to turn off at the point you said about. Obviously, the suit is supposed to be robotic in a way.
Yeah. So they're doing the tests, Joe, on a suit. The suit's meant to be sort of a bit of a, I forget the right word, but a bit robotic. So that's why he's moving in certain ways. So it takes data and sends it back to make sure the suit's working as they designed it to work in space.
And I, you know, but what do you? Surely you don't want it to be robotic in space. Surely you want it to be quite free moving.
Well, I don't understand why you need to be robotic in space. You've got no force running against you. It should be easier to move in space, shouldn't it?
I'm assuming it's like walking underwater, swimming.
Well, no, because that's quite difficult, isn't it? You've got the force of the pressure of the water against you, whereas if you're in space, surely I could be wrong. You know, the vacuum of space might have something to do with it. You know, I don't know, but
Joe said yes because it's night on the other side, Paul.
so no, one paid their electricity bill, and there's not a single light coming out of any part of land on Earth on the dark side.
Joe, did you ever watch the show? When did you was you watching the show when we showed you the pictures they'd found by the James Webb Telescope billions of light years away, or whatever you want? Did you ever see that picture? Just I don't know if you was watching that show, just to sort of get to some sort of perspective of
they showed city lights on this
right.
the nearest planet.
Right. What was it? City lights.
James Webb.
James Webb. Right. Let's get a picture for Joe to images. All right. So, which I'm just trying to find it. Right. This was it, wasn't it? Or was it? It was very hard to find, wasn't it? Of what they were trying to show us.
Yeah, because I think we tried to look it up as well, didn't we?
Yeah. I think it was that picture they were trying to show us, wasn't they? So, nope, that's the city lights of Texas. Just trying to find it for you, Joe, before we... satellite... Oh, there, that was it, wasn't it? Stable diffusion, wasn't it? Something along them lines, wasn't it? No, you know what? Why have they taken it down, Paul? Why have they taken it down?
Yeah, well.
Why have they taken that down? Which is even more crazier than crazier things. Well, that is weird. That is really, really odd. Or is that it? Space. No. You know what? That's odd. Odd beyond odd. I'm just gonna show you the screen. City lights on Proxima B, wasn't it?
That's it, yes.
So Proxima. Let's have a look at that. And then we might be able to show you Proxima B images. Right, so It's this one. I'm just gonna. It's what I'm gonna do. I'll share the screen. Let's just share screen, share, and we want that one. Okay, so I'm just gonna share the. So this is what they're saying. They're saying there's city lights on Proximity B. They've found this one here is the one on YouTube. This is how the James Webb turned this, and they've found a block of lights. Are there artificial lights on Proximity B? This is a picture taken from the James Webb telescope, and as you can see, there is a planet, not planet, but a city-like shape, country, continent-like shape over certain things, and that's what it has come back on sharing. So I get where Paul is saying when he's talking about, obviously there is, you would see some form of light, at least glimmering from city lights. Whatever part, it's not going to be, it wasn't going to be over us because we was in daylight, wasn't we? So I'm assuming it would have been sort of that, what, Australia, lower bottom of that continent, that it would have been in darkness.
Yeah, I don't know the exact time that all this happened, so I couldn't tell you.
It was literally live as you was pretty. It was only about an hour out.
Right. Yeah. So
because I turned on Sky News to watch it, and it had just finished. It was streaming live. So it's like they said that you can't see the stars on Apollo moon landing.
Exactly.
Fake landing. Yeah, to me, it just makes no sense. Yeah, could we, we know like the likes of, where's Proximity B? Joe, who knows?
Millions of miles away, mate.
It's what the James Webb telescope can see.
Yeah. It's out of our solar system, but they reckon it's the nearest planet to Earth, as in Earth-like atmosphere and living conditions. But yeah,
and that's what they
see city lights coming from that. But as soon as you go to the shadow over the Earth, there's not a single speck of light.
And once again, we're talking about a picture that's being taken millions and millions of miles away, and we still can't make a phone call less than a mile away from somebody.
Yeah,
give me strength. That logic doesn't work.
How high? Let me Google this. How high is the ISS? How high is the International Space Station?
Is that actually going to work?
408 kilometers. Now you can see quite clearly the lights when they're from Earth, from that when they're showing the camera down. Yeah. So we're talking another 1,000 kilometers. They're going to completely disappear. I don't buy it. But
then it just gives you that sense of why. Do you know why? Why? Is it this? What we was talking about, this slow disclosure last week? Is it the follow? Is it the next steps to get people looking? And do they purposely make these videos for us to question? Is it purposely there for someone to go, look, why is there no lights? To question it. Just like the moon landing, there is no way I don't feel if they didn't want you to know it was fake, they wouldn't. They wouldn't make such stupid mistakes like they did. I know technology changes, I do get that, but I do generally feel that this, in my head, is they do these things on purpose to make us question it. There's two different cameras there. There's one terrible camera, and there's one high-powered camera. You know, why? Why? That doesn't make any sense. You would use all the same camera, surely.
The other bit that got me was when the modules separated. It looked like a computer game. It looked very digitalized, and the actual Polaris Dawn, it looked see-through. It looked like you could see light coming out the end of it, just as it separated, and then it moved away. But the camera didn't budge an inch, a millimeter. It didn't shake or nothing. And you see a quick little sort of like a gas release, and then it just sort of moved away. Now, that straight away got me. It looked like a computer game to me, straight away. And I thought, really? And that was the genuine actual footage of it. And I don't know,
It can't be, you know, at the end of the day,
it
can't be as good as footage as what the Indians released, or is it Pakistan?
Yeah, I still haven't watched that, you know.
Oh, you've got to see that.
I've got to watch it.
That was just pure genius. That was. But no, I think look, I'm going to reserve judgment just at this moment in time, because I haven't seen, because it's fresh. We're talking about hours that this thing happened, so we are definitely talking around the hours games here. That this has happened, so I'm going to just reserve judgment just for a minute, and I've seen some more videos, so I've watched a bit of YouTube, so I've watched a bit of more footage regarding it, and then we'll, you know, in a couple of weeks' time, or maybe next week, we'll say, you know, look, yeah, I was wrong on that one just at the moment. But for me, I'm just going to reserve judgment from my initial side of things. I don't see it. It doesn't look quite right. But that's not to say, like I've said before, is that they send these people up here in space. They have the live feed, but if something starts to go Pete Tong, they're going to have a backup, just like that moon landing. Yeah. I don't think what we saw in the original moon landing was what we were supposed to see. I think that was pure backup, and I think something went a bit Pete awry as they land on the moon. I think they was met by hostiles, and they couldn't show that on national TV, but they had to show something. So there would always be a contingency plan. There has to be a contingency plan in my eyes. And this is what, you know, for all intents and purposes, this could have been a simple, you know, especially when we've gone from a real dodgy camera to an absolute pinpoint accurate camera. That says to me that that is edited to the point of, well, look, here they're coming out of the hatch. Here they come. And yeah, we've cut to another camera quick. Something's happened. And that gives you the perspective, well, this is what we've filmed. So that's not my hair, by the way, guys. That's
but did you notice on that bit of video that just before the camera switched from inside the capsule to outside the capsule, the footage went funny? Yes. Like a digital overlay inside the capsule, and then it changed to the shot.
But that is exactly what I was getting. That you could almost see to me where they've edited the film.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, for all intents and purposes, they could have met. You know, there could have been something in the background they didn't need to see. I.e., it could have been a UFO spacecraft. It could have been the black satellite that's been up there for hundreds of thousands of years that could have shot past.
Yeah. Or the lights manager walking past the shop.
Exactly. Anything. Right, that's not just Chopal. With the technology now, there is no reason for poor audio, poor video, or other suspect things. What's with the hair of them girls too? Paul said exactly the same.
So this is where I get that girl. When you see like live videos from lower Earth orbit, and they're moving about, and their hair's just waving and flowing, You know, most of them tie it up, and I get if they are up there, I get why they would not tie the hair up so it looks more dramatic. But I mean, this is Hairspray 2000. This thing is just solid. It's not moving at all. There's not even a wisp.
No.
It wouldn't. Sorry, it just wouldn't.
That was very suspect. The hair was very suspect. Because you say there was no movement whatsoever. You know, is it a thing? I don't know if it goes rigid, but from the videos we've seen in the past of people in orbit, that
it flows. It
things
flows.
move.
It waves like you're underwater. It's got that sort of very suspect.
You know, once again, you know, even Joe's now looking at sort of the videos and sort of seeing the suspect side of things. But I think we could do that with absolutely anything. We have to be very careful where we draw the line. You know, some things are real, some things aren't, and that's where my head is at the, you know, sometimes at the moment is like I look at too many things now, and there's a hidden meaning behind it, which it could all intents and purposes be, but it might not be.
But it's no different to what
in space.
What we do, really, Russ. And when we put a video out of a paranormal investigation or something like that, when we done 30 East Drive, and I done a little stint on the live cam. If you remember, there was a rocking horse in one of the rooms, and I put it on the land at it, and I was saying, you know, if there's any energies there, make the rocking horse move. And a couple of people put in the comments it was live, and they were coming up saying, I can see the wire, I can see the string. And I thought, well, where? I'd literally just played. But if I had a wire or string, wouldn't I have made it move? Do you know what I mean? And it's like, but like you just said, it's either a troll just trying to get a thing, or someone sitting there questioning it. So they think they see something, so they're saying, oh, I see this, I see that. Or if we do catch a bit of footage and you're like, what is that? We'll put it out there, and someone will always come back and go, oh, that's, you know, editing or this and that. And so, yeah, you know, perhaps we're looking too much into it, and we're trying too hard to find fault in it, but I'm not sold.
But is it about getting us to look up? Does it? Once again, all these, you know, it doesn't matter if it's real or fake. It's all about looking up again. It's all about getting to look to the skies, looking up in the air, getting up, up, up. And is it that, you know, what that gentleman was saying about slow disclosure for the people who don't believe?
Yeah. You know, as we were saying last week, everything seems to be heading towards that direction, doesn't it? Space.
Yeah.
And now you've got this going on. You've got them two people that have been on the International Space Station all that time, and now there's all these other people joined them up there. And it's like, yeah, and not more astronauts than ever in space at one time. Everything. Why all this happening now?
I know. I know, and there's no. I don't know if there is a space race going on, but you know, it's so questionable. I think Joe's very much right about the moon landing. You know, if it was that easy back in the 60s, 70s to land on the moon, why haven't we gone back? Why, literally, surely we've got the technology to get back there forward like a plane now. Do you know? Surely the technology's there. This is a question that, you know, is quite a good, with all the technology now. There's no reason for poor audio, but right, forget the hair bit because we spoke about that. So the poor video and the poor audio quality. Now that's a question in itself, because on Earth, to the general public, the general minions like us, we have got crap technology when it comes to phone, audio, and ringing people. The connectivity is, shocking, beyond shocking. And I know the conspiracy is that obviously the masts that were taken down,
Hawaii, or whatever it was.
Hawaii, we have it saying it has caused all this bad signal because the technology is not there to cope with what we have. It makes sense in my eyes. It makes sense. But how can we literally we're having video calls with people in space and it doesn't glitch out? We've been on air for what, 45 minutes, Paul, and you've glitched 3 times. I may have glitched to you.
Yeah, you have
3
on my
times.
screen.
They're talking to us from space for 10 minutes and it is perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Don't make sense. Does not make sense how that works. Right, hold on. Simon is asking questions now. So perhaps we are looking up and paying attention to what is happening up there. What is happening down here in our seas and deserts? Yeah, I can't disagree with that comment, to be fair. We've got because of pressure. Dun, 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 under pressure. I suppose that's from the seas. But yeah, I think that is a massive coup. I do think, but we have to, if alien technology is about, and if they are here and they are visiting us, you have to look up naturally. But you wouldn't, you're not going to miss what's coming up from the sea because it has to leave the ocean at some point. I know we've you've got the Tic Tac videos of extraterrestrials potentially hitting the seas, and so potentially caught coming from the sea. Is that caused this knock-on effect to get us to look up higher? Because they don't want people looking down. Look at the conspiracy theory around the expedition of the Titanic when they sadly all lost their lives in the Titanic vessel.
Yeah.
That was one of the conspiracies, that they saw something. They actually saw something down there and couldn't allow them back up, which would be in the ocean. Look at the Titanic. I get that why we shouldn't go down there, because people have obviously, it's a burial ground. We shouldn't disturb that. But there's good firm data and say scientific data that there is no hole or mark in front of the Titanic's bow. But no one's ever questioned that.
Yeah.
The last sonar and radar digital scans that come back from the Titanic that these people released to the big, there was no hole in the front of the Titanic where it so-called hit an iceberg. It split into 2, which was the cause. Which, is there something around that area that is hiding? Because obviously we would have had icebergs in that area. Once again, could hide something. We talk about Antarctica. We talk about the sea wall. Ice. Is it something to do with, is that where they're hiding? Deflection from what is going on down here. In many ways, we could easily link that to every single thing that, especially in the UK at the moment. Why can we travel to space and yet can't explore the bottom of the seas? Where is the technology? And that's where George has put Simon Hardy, because of pressure. And Simon has gone back, agreed, George, but surely would have worked that one out. I think we can. That I do think it's there. I generally do think it is there for us to explore the bottoms of our oceans. Totally.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing to say we're not. Because don't forget as well, NASA, that's how NASA started. NASA started exploring the oceans. And just one day like that is as if they found something under the ocean. or in the ocean, shall I say. They decided to change tack and they started looking at the skies, looking at space. They originally started exploring the seas.
I didn't know that, but I do now. I do now. But it's so, I'm going to sound like a right pleb, but it's so obvious why we don't. Hold on. It's a bigger question: is why we aren't seeing more footage of Antarctica.
Yeah.
Don't even let us go there, Joe, because it's a pet peeve of mine and Paul's. This one. Well, I wish Christian was online, because this is where Christian would be a good debate at this point, because he does know a lot about the Antarctica Treaty. Because it is, we believe that there's a treaty out there that doesn't allow us to go on it, doesn't it? But I don't think that's actually quite right, is it?
No, you can go on it, but you're only restricted to certain distances or certain areas. Basically, what they let you explore. But other than that, yeah, it's no fly zone, no boat zone, no. You can't just come and go as you please.
And there was a big thing, wasn't there, last couple of weeks ago that sort of disappeared. The 24 nations, was it?
Yeah.
The 24 nations.
Antarctica to do an expedition. But yeah, I haven't heard nothing else since they. That was about 2 weeks ago now, wasn't it?
About 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We got, the expedition of the 24 nations all agreed to meet in Antarctica. We were supposed to hear quite a lot about it, but nothing really come of it, did it?
No. Funny that, isn't it?
But what to be fair is, I say, look at the history of Antarctica. There is so much history regarding Antarctica. We know, this is not. We know that Hitler put more money towards exploring Antarctica and finding all these Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant than he did to fund war with with the British Isles. That's a proven fact. He funded the expedition. We know there's a conspiracy that's where Hitler wasn't killed. He fled to Antarctica. There is so many things that Antarctica holds. Why we can't go on it, why we can't do this, why we can't see this. There was that. Obviously, was there the one of the big cruise liners sold a cruise that you could go and see, at a distance, Antarctica. You could see it, and it got pulled.
Yeah,
they all got pulled, and they wouldn't allow them to carry on their journey. And
that's right. Yeah,
they turned.
That wasn't that long ago either.
No, it wasn't. But that sort of says to me that Antarctica holds all the questions,
all the answers.
So yeah, all the answers to probably the questions that we answer. Joe, are you still in the chat? Because I just hit the wrong button, and I don't know if I've blocked you. I'm hoping I haven't, but I went to click the comment to bring that up, and I clicked on the 3 dots. Oh, he's still here. Thank God for that. But I think Antarctica is a massive fountain of information that would answer so many questions that it would probably end the conspiracy theories people for the rest of life.
It would be like breaking into the Vatican caves, wouldn't it? The archives at the Vatican, the things you could answer down there, it'll answer a hell of a lot of questions that people have about history, our history.
Yeah, I say, I do believe, I do think that there is something. Look, I know I've joked about it and I've laughed about it, but we go from what is on Antarctica? Joe, what do you think it is all about, Antarctica? And in the chat, Simon, Mickey, Heidi, anybody in the chat that is watching, George, anybody in the chat that is watching, what is your belief of Antarctica? You know, let's get a conversation going about Antarctica. What do you think is out? Do you just think it is an ice plain? You know, we spoke about it loosely last week. You know, is it an ice wall that goes all the way around for flat Earth?
Or something along them lines. Russ, you've got to give me 2 seconds, mate. Where I had trouble getting on, I forgot to have my wee before I come on, and I'm breaking my neck. Give me 2 seconds.
I think we should all say no, shouldn't we? So I think there is an entrance to subterranean Earth. Like it, I do. So when we talk about subterranean Earth, Joe, are we talking about, and you know, sort of the habitats of perhaps, you know, the reptilian nation that we've obviously spoke about in the early days, potentially where they come from, and all things like that. The tall greys and the greys live there. That's where the dark ETs live. Right, I've gotcha. And that, you know, that very much fits. I get it. I do think there is something to do with Antarctica. Yeah, tall greys, reptilians. So brilliant. Like it, Joe. So we're all sort of on the same wavelength there. So yeah, if anybody else in the chat have got a bit of what is on Antarctica, Heidi Hansen, I think many things are going on there. An important place also for aliens. I think many meetings is taking place there, and we're not told about. Now, do you, Heidi, when we say meetings, are we talking about actual leaders of the, you know, the governments and people like that, or higher beings or anything like that? The one is contracted with the US. The one is contracted with the US military. Sorry, I don't get what I'm assuming. So Jay, just to go back, Paul, for you, Joe believes there's an entrance to subterranean Earth where it's all greys.
What he said in his reports, yeah.
Yep. Heidi, many things are going on in there. An important place for aliens. I think many meetings take place there. I asked if it was like leaders. So I said yes. So Heidi believes that like the leaders of the worlds that meet there. Also military. But it is manned, isn't it? There is points around the.
Oh, there's bases all over the place. Yeah. Well,
yeah,
where do you think they come from when you try and get onto the Antarctic? They're coming from the Antarctic to stop you getting to the Antarctic. So I'd say there's plenty of military out there.
But if you know, I can't help but go there. But we've spoke about it before, haven't we? When we talk about what's the what is it called? Where they have the ice wall. They protect the ice wall. What's that TV program?
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. That's it. You look at that. You look at that theory and what that's based on with the ice wall and what it's protecting and what it's hiding. And actually, when they go over it and go a little bit deeper, it isn't all ice at the end of it, is it? You know, it's a little bit.
Yeah, but this is the other thing. See, we're saying aliens is in extraterrestrial. But if you do go by Admiral Byrd's diary and statement, there's whole other continents. And if you do go by the sort of flat Earth theory, beyond the ice wall, there's other lands and there's other human or terrestrial beings, you know. So they're not from outer space; they're just from the further lands, you know. So, and if we saw them, we'd say that looks like an alien, or you know, like us but not us, because they're from the other lands. again, I think it was Admiral Byrd's diaries that sort of mentioned that you come across.
I think we should revisit the Admiral Byrd stuff again, because that would be quite interesting.
When we touched on it before, though, you know, you've got his actual diary, and then you've got snippets of other people saying what was in his diary. And when you listen to it, you're a bit like, that sounds a bit too far-fetched, as if it was deliberately put in there to turn people away from what he was putting in there. But I'll have to try and find the live TV interview he done as well, where he explained it.
I'm just going to click on it and let's have a because obviously it allows you to it was an expedition that led across Atlantic Ocean, a segment of the Antarctic, discovering Mount Sydney, the largest dominant volcano in Antarctica. Doesn't actually say, does it? After the war, attempt to fly over the North Pole. Yeah, it doesn't actually say. Doesn't give us the Antarctic surface expedition. Byrd was the first to finance it. Yeah, it doesn't. It's never going to be.
Was it Operation High Jump or something like that?
Yeah, there's nothing really on there to. Yeah, there's nothing really there. I do, you know, if we go into it a little bit more in time, but yeah, as I say, he does do a lot of digging. I think the Antarctic is Simon. I think the Antarctic and the deserts and the seas are all places ETs exist, mainly the unexplored places on Earth. Yeah, you know, it seems quite feasible. I think the deserts, you know, I give, or you know, I think the sea is more hidden. The sea is a more hidden place, isn't it? Very unexplored.
I think that would be more if you're looking in the lines of like alien civilizations, you know what I mean? I think if you've got small groups just living among us, I think they're among us. I don't think they'd need to be in the desert or in the oceans. I mean, if they are in the deserts, and not so much the desert, but the oceans, then I think you're talking civilizations. You know, you think of the amount of this earth that's underwater compared to land. Is it 70% water compared to land, if not more? And only 5% of the oceans have been explored. That's a vast area. There could be huge civilizations.
I totally agree. Totally agree, Paul. Totally agree. And with Simon as well, and all the others in the chat. You know, it's a very agreeable show tonight, which is a rarity, isn't it? The US military are in contact with the reptilians and the tall greys. We get technology, they get access to experiment and manipulation of freedoms of human using WF and the WHO to implement one world order where all nations lose their sovereign. I can't say that word.
Sovereignty.
Sort of fits. It fits my narrative.
Yeah,
that fits my narrative. Yeah, I don't think it's just the US military. I think it's all militaries. I just think the leaders of the world are just puppets, and I just think it's just trying to combine it all at the moment.
Yeah, but I think you get your breakaway nations. You know, I think you have got people out there that are coming wising up to what's going on, and the West's WEF sort of, because a lot of turning away from it, you know.
Yeah, but
joining the BRICS and things like that, you know, they're sort of coming away from a lot of it as well, doing their own thing. They don't want to be dictated to.
Yeah, I say, you know, I get it, but I just think they're all in cahoots with it all. I think they're all in that. They all get what they want at the end of the day, and you get these breakaway nations. Yeah, they're going to say this and going to say that. Well, yeah, of course they're going to say that because they want something, so they're going to get what they want. Do you know what I mean? They'll soon be piped back down. They'll soon be piped back down. You know, all these nations that are trying to pull away from it, they'll be back piped into it somewhere, and they'll come into conform somewhere along the line because they'll get what they want.
I don't know. I think because us Western nations have had quite a bit of the control for quite some time, and we've just become the bully boys of the world, you know. And a lot of countries know that and realise that, and they're, like I said, I think that's why a lot of them are joining the BRICS, because they don't want it no more. They want to do their own thing, their own way, and not be told how to trade and what currency to trade in.
But I think that's sort of like, one of a better phrase, nothing to them.
But I think a lot of it is to do with us, the Western nations, going woke. To me, it is a sign of weakness, and I think this is why it's since we've started going woke is when all these other countries started to come away from us. Africa more now than ever, you know. And to be fair, I totally agree with what Africa's doing, and I think it surprises me why it's taken so long as what it has for them to do it. You know, that land, the continent of Africa, has been raped and pillaged by all other countries for hundreds of years, and they've finally sort of looks like they're saying, no, enough's enough. This is our land. What comes out of it is ours, and they're really coming up with that now, and you know, rightly so.
I just don't. I don't see that. I don't see that. I get but I think it's done on purpose. I don't see any way forward, and it's being done on purpose. I think everything that goes on in this world, if it's from Russia to China to England to Brazil, as Joe said, I'll go down the comments in a minute because there's loads of comments coming in, to the USA. It's all led by one. You know, they all have the power that goes underneath it. It's just combining that how it works. And I think, you know, the likes of these countries that push the boundaries, so to speak, which I can't, will eventually conform because they'll get what they want. They obviously want something. It's not about being free. You know, it's about what they want. You know, everything is about what they want rather than about freedom. You know, what's that? You know,
but they're getting what they want. When you think, what does in riches and minerals and land, you know, what does, say, America, England, Canada, what do we supply the rest of the world that they can't get from their own lands? Nothing. But we rely on them for everything, and yet we're telling them how they've got to trade it, and who they can and can't trade to.
Yeah, but I think that's just the way of these.
It's the way we set it up, because we were so great at one. I say great. We were so much in power at one time that we sort of think, or not we. When I say we, I mean like the governments and the puppet masters. No, we still run the show here. You do what we say. And now I think a lot of these other nations are saying, well, hang on a minute, no.
Yeah, but if we you know, as if we're going along the lines of what Joey's saying here with reptilian nations, you know, they're a dark ET race, potentially. They've got technology in place that won't give us flying monkeys. What you say, don't conform, we blow you up.
But exactly that, though. What if these other nations do know that they're being run by the reptilians and this and that, and they're saying, no, this is... If it comes to that, would it come to that? Because their allies are going to say, well, hang on a minute, if you take them out, then we're done as well.
I don't know. I think it's deeper than this, that, and that. I think it's just. I think there's one word. I don't know where Joe put it. Experimentation and manipulation of freedoms of human, and I think that's what they're doing. I think there's only one.
I think they've been doing that for well over 100 years.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think Russia. I think the tall greys, these aliens, are allowing Russia to do it or China to do it because they want to see how we react. I think they allow it. I don't think it's because they're just walking away from it and going, "Oh, you know what? We've got the balls to walk away from it." I think no, you haven't got the balls. They're going to allow you to do it to see how we react. It's a manipulation. It's a controlling mechanism to see how the human race, and we're being experimented on. If that's the way we're going, everything that we see is, the Matrix. We are a Truman Show in false, and it could be. Let's go back to some of the comments. Simon, I'll come back to yours in a minute. Okay. Russia don't toe the line. Poland too. Simon's put nice vodka. USA, UK and Brazil are the worst. Brazil's banned X. So I like a Brazilian. Fish and chips, Paul. I don't know what that means. Out of paper. Proper UK. So we've got all them. I don't know where I'm going now because I was reading all the comments. They've thrown me off. Thrown me where I was going to go. But yeah, I say, to toe the line. So Russia, they don't toe the line. But I do feel like they're getting that freedom because then people will question that freedom. They want that. It's how are we as the British people reacting to it? Okay,
we know we've been lied to a lot over everything. And I think the more you look into other countries and things like that, especially with Russia, especially after seeing that Tucker Carlson when he went to Russia, and I follow a few people that moved out to Russia from England and America, and they do daily videos of where they're going, where they're shopping, where they're doing, where they're this, and the place is immaculate. It's nothing like what I thought it would be like. Nothing. The subways out there are crisp, clean. They look like Buckingham Palace. There's chandeliers in the subways. There's this, there's that. And you think, this is not what I've been told Russia's like. The same with China and things like that. Did you see the footage they've done on the news where when they show China, they darken the image so it looks all smoggy and this and that. And you get people out there going, this is what it actually looks like. Lush, green, beautiful, flowers everywhere, this, that. But the news, the media deliberately darken it to make it look like a smoggy, dingy place. You would never be told that the Russian subways have got chandeliers in them because Russians are, they're beneath it. And I just think we've been lied about everything. The British, every empire has fallen. And I think the British Empire is falling.
But I think that's what they want you to do. That's exactly what we're doing. They've split it to see how people react.
Yeah.
The tall greys, the alien nation, have split it. They've allowed Russia to do what they want to do to see how the rest of the world react to that. It's manipulation. It's no different. It's just how Russia haven't gone, you know what, we're not going to listen to the tall greys. We're going to go out on our own. We're not going to do that. We're going to do our own thing. It's no way would that happen because they would just rock the boat. It's you're going to do this. You're going to do this to see how these react to this because you're one big experiment. If we're going back to Joe's comment, manipulation of freedoms of human. So you've got to have a balance to cause you can't have us all free and doing what we want because then you don't get an argument. So let's have one half of the world free and doing what they want to do and getting away with everything and everything like that. And then let's have one half of the world that's, down the middle. We're going to do this. We're going to do that and blah, 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 blah. And then.
No, but I think this is why you want to ban social media. because all we know about other countries is what their leaders are doing. Other countries are laughing at us because of what our leaders are doing. The actual people that live there, you don't know what their thoughts are. Look at the majority of England, how they think at the moment about our government. Every country probably feels the same about their government, but we only know about the decisions the government makes in other countries. We very rarely get to hear about the people that live there, apart from on social media. That's when you get the truth of the matters, or some truth of the matters.
That causes the argument.
Exactly.
That causes, they will never get rid of social media because that causes the argument.
I think it depends on the leader. Like Joe said, Brazil just banned X because he wouldn't censor political speech. So Brazil banned it.
But once again, an experiment.
Freedom of speech has been taken away from you. You will think the way we tell you to think.
And then it's what will happen. They'll read somewhere along the line that, let's take Russia, for instance. Russia's going to have this. Russia can do this. Russia can do that. Then what have you got? Conflict.
Yeah.
You've got people in the middle saying, well, why can they do it? We can't. Because they want that political. This has been the most heightened it's been of people going up against governments for a long time.
Yeah, long time.
For a long time. For a long time. And it's been caused by what they have turned us to places. They've given us something, taken something, and they give you something, and then they take something massive from you. And just like that, they can manipulate you on whatever you want to see on social media, YouTube, telly, everything. If they do not want you to see it, it will not be on anything that you could see. It would be gone. It would be gone.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
So when we say, oh, look, we could watch this video, like you've just said about Russia with the chandeliers and this and how beautiful it looks. Of course they want to see that. Of course they want you to see that. They're never going to stop that, because then that stops us saying, that stops the people saying something about Russia. You're always going to have people that are against Russia. You're always going to have people that are for Russia. You're always going to have people that are against Ukraine. You're always going to have people for Ukraine. You're always going to have people for China, for not China. You're going to have people for USA, not USA. Why? Yeah. Because they are allowing the media through telly, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, X, whatever you want to call it. They're allowing it to happen. If they didn't want you to see it, it would be gone. It wouldn't even go out. It could be so easily done. So many comments coming in from Simon and Joe at the moment. Where do I start? Paul, we can give you what can we give Canada and US? Answer: fish and chips out of newspaper.
Yeah.
Love Tucker Carlson.
I do.
Russia is proper lovely. Don't believe the fake news. Never seen anything of it, to be fair. I'm very sorry to say, but the UK has become a laughing stock with the butt of all jokes now throughout the world.
The UK and America.
It's topsy-turvy. Russia isn't a bad boy there. They aren't angels, but Russia is being run as a sovereign nation. Not many out there. Hate our government. Not against. They are against the people. What did they use before social media? Newspapers, assuming.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. How easy was it to get everyone to believe whatever they wanted people to believe before you had things like social media, mobile phones, this and that? All you had was the news. Newspaper. Before telly, you had someone standing on the street shouting out, the town criers, and things like that. They're only telling you what they're told to tell you. So everyone would fall in line. It was easier but the same things happen again and again and again. They suppress people to the brink of desperation, so they rebel and fight back. And we're sort of that close to rebelling and fighting back.
But as you say, it was easier to control the masses back then
Yeah, so much easier.
because everyone believed everything they read in a newspaper. There was no conspiracy in a newspaper. They would put
And when they lied and
Yeah.
tried to manipulate people, they could say, "No, I never said that," and there would be no one. But now everything's out there. If it's on telly or digitally, it's always there to come back. So when they say, "I never said that," well, hang on a minute, there you go. This is you saying that. They cannot lie about it. They try, but they can't.
Yeah.
They're always found out.
It's always been a manipulation. It's always been a manipulation throughout time. Lest it be, as you say, going back from Town Crier. You know, they're only told what to say. You know,
Yeah.
and people would believe it. You know, social media is an experiment. Social media is an experiment. That is exactly what I believe it is. As Joe put, you know, we are being controlled, and exactly that. It's an experiment to see how people react and what people do. It's a social experiment. You've only got to look at sort of like the biggest funder of the social media aspect in Mark Zuckerberg or whatever he is. Do you know what I mean? You can see it's all an experiment. Everything that is social media is an experiment. Everything. Exactly, mate. But social media has given us outlets until now. Experiment, yes, but also a distraction. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Personally, a big believer on social media propels our war tenfold. I'm personally a big believer that social media. I totally agree with you, Daryl. Thank you for commenting. I've never seen the name come up, so welcome to the show. Thank you for commenting. Lovely to have you along the show. It's lovely to see a new face, so to speak. But yeah, I totally agree. It's there to do exactly that. I think it does. It can manipulate the younger generation into fear.
We remember the days before social media, you know, but the young kids now, and I think this is one of the main drivers behind the young's mental disorders and, you know, the anxiety and depression and everything like that the youngsters seem to go through nowadays. And I think social media plays a massive part of that because they've never had the life without it, you know, so they don't know what it was like growing up with nothing like that. So yeah, it has got a lot to answer for, but for us, I think it's easier for us to sort of, don't get me wrong, you do get drawn in on some things, but I think it's easier for us to go, yeah, well, I don't quite, you know, let's forget about that. I can turn my phone off and I'll be quite happy. You know, I can spend weekends without picking my phone up, but kids can't.
No.
And like someone said that, I noticed on one of the comments, I think it was Joe, you know, with Instagram and that, and these people showing an Instagram life that is nothing like their life. So they're trying to live their life, a fake life, just to put out to people on Instagram for views. That's not living. I wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that.
Younger generation nowadays are too impressionable, too caught up in menial tasks, see real problems in our society. Nobody of the newer generation is looking into the real problems. And now, this is not everybody. I'm not talking about every younger generation, because I do know a few people that have got their heads screwed on big time. And there's a few, you know, people out there and really, you know, you think, okay, I'll listen to you, and you can talk well, and you have your own opinion, which I like. And you know, one of them.
You've got to kind of put some of that down to the upbringing as well.
Yeah,
because I think if you're just letting your kids, crack on, go on, keep them quiet, blah blah blah, do whatever. But when you engage with the kids and children, whether it be your kids, nieces, nephews, anyone, if you have something to do with kids and you're able to teach them, well, you know, this is how you should deal with it, you know, because one of our young apprentices, I say he's young, he's 18, he's so smart, he's so clued up, and for his age, most 18-year-olds, I think, they're not like that at all. But he knows everything. You try and talk about something, yeah, I know about that, and he'll start reeling it off, and I think, blimey, where does that come from? So some of the younger generation are very clued up. Yeah, very much.
Very.
So.
It's not every. I say no. It's. I'm not talking about every young generation. That's what not what we're saying. There's a lot of children out there, teenagers, young adults that are very, very clued up and very well spoken and very well. You could have a real nice conversation to them. We're talking about, you know the ones we're talking about, the ones that are always on their phones, on social media. Not everybody. So, yeah, we're not. If we offended anybody, we're not doing that. We're not talking about every younger generation. Okay, right. I just want to get off that subject. So I've got two things. I need to pop back to Simon's question because we're not just going to gloss over it. So we're going to go back on it. There are places in the desert where ETs and humans exist together in colonies. I once read an article which I think has since been taken down, where a very high-ranking military person broke silence before he died to tell a story, and it was brilliant. If I can ever find the article and I would see it, apparently nothing could exist. I think that happens. I think that happens quite a lot. I think there is.
Do you remember that show we done about the Kandahar giant?
Yes. Yeah.
That's a similar sort of thing, you know, living up in the cave systems and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, that was military backed as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think they, so, yeah. Why not? I think we could, why not? We talk about, the lost city of Atlantis. Why is it lost? Is it because we can't see it? What's to say it is lost? Why can't it still be there, but underwater?
Yeah.
Deep. We could have a whole city under that water, and it still could be called Atlantis. You think of all these films that we see, where Atlantis exists is at the bottom of the ocean. You see the mermaids, you see all these, submarines going to it. Why can't it still be there? Why is it lost? Is it lost just because it's moved to the basis of the sea?
Well, look at the scene when they found that was only 10 years ago when they found them lakes under the water, a lake of water under the water, deep in the oceans. Something to do with the gases in it, and that's where that film The Meg come from, wasn't it? Because they penetrated through into that, and there's a whole other system down there, and that's actually true. The lake under the water. So, what else is down there?
Exactly. You could have many things at the bottom. And one of my beliefs is that Atlantis is actually at the bottom of the ocean. I still think it exists. I don't think it's gone anywhere. I just think it's either, as Joseph, Atlantis was lost after a cataclysmic event. What is that? Where's it moved? Is it just knocked it to the bottom of the sea? Yeah, potentially, yeah. There has Atlantis was lost. Oh no, I'm reading the same question. There has been many human civilizations. Totally agree. Look at the cave system that exists where people are living, and look at the towns that are in lakes and underwater. Yeah, we've been to one of them. We've seen one of them. It got flooded on purpose. Lake Venway, I think it was Lake Vernwy, up in Wales. You can see that sometimes on low water, you can see the tops of the chimneys that pop out of the
Really?
They flooded it to cause a dam. They flooded the whole city. It's got a church, and all the divers go down to see it. That's in Wales, in Lake Vernwy. So, yeah, well, once again, time has absolutely flown by. Today, absolutely flown by. So I'm going to ask you now, Paul, again, the question: Trump or Harris?
After that debate, Trump all day long.
He got ridiculed for it, though.
It was 3 against 1, mate. It was so. Oh, nah. I thought he handled himself really well, mate. That was the most manipulated thing I've ever seen in my life. But no, Trump all the way for me.
Still. So no, I say I have seen the footage. I think he has been caught out a tiny bit.
Yeah, they fact checked everything he said, but nothing Kamala said, even though she lied.
We know that was always going to happen. I'm still on Trump camp at the moment. I'm still there at the moment. I do see that. But I think you're going to see a bit of a swing in the next couple of weeks to Harris after that debate. It was a bit odd.
They've done some flash polls, and Trump was smashing it after that debate.
Yeah, but I think the mainstream media got hold of it, didn't they? So that plays. It does. I say it plays a massive part, doesn't it? Plays a massive part.
Yeah. People just soak it up.
Yep, and that's it. Right. So, guys, take care. Thank you to everybody that has joined in tonight. Heidi, Joe, Simon, Daryl, and George. Everybody that has joined in. Mickey, everybody, Jane, Marianne, everybody. Thank you ever so much. I say it does make our shows go a lot easier when you all join in and put your questions and get involved, because it gives us something to look at as well on the screen. So we thank you for that. Thank you to all our listeners around the world, in America, in wherever you are, Russia, China. If you're listening, let us know. Take care, everybody. Stay safe, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you to everybody over on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much. Take care, and we'll see you all again next week.
Bye-bye.
Night, Brother Russ. Night, Brother Paul. Amen.
No, brother Jeff.
I do feel like I need to dance, like the pastors in America and every that, they go, right, take care. See you later, everybody.
Bye.